To the left, we have the LG C4. To the right, we have the Samsung S95D slash S90D. Now I say slash S90D because if the S95 is capable of this with a matte finish screen, you better believe without the contrast killer on it, it's going to look way better on the S90D. So I'm actually doing LG a favor by not comparing it right now against that, because I already know people are going to complain because it's going to be a dramatic difference. Now, that being said, looking at this, I think one of the biggest differences most of you probably didn't expect was how far off the colors are between the two. And I mean, it's far off. Look at the shade of red. It's really cool. It basically doesn't leave a lot for accuracy at all. You hear over and over again D65 white point. I think, again, the D65 white point really needs to be reinvestigated, okay? Because the way they're doing it here, everything is blue. Everything is cool because D65, spoiler, is a very cold color temperature. It doesn't really allow for a lot of warmth in your picture, which is why we constantly see these overly cool pictures. And again, a lot of people eat it up. They love it. I mean, most people were sold off of vivid mode. Well, this is what vivid mode looks like. It's vibrant, yeah, sure, but look at what it actually looks like. It's literally clipping data and information in a way where all of the detail you would see in something like her face, it's gone. She just basically looks like a pale ghost, and there are no real two ways about that. It's an awful picture all around. Now, you can then tone it down a bit and go to standard. And yeah, that looks better, but she still looks like freaking Casper the Friendly Ghost. Again, none of the colors that you're supposed to have. So then we can go into, let's say, cinema mode. Well, that'll get a little bit more accurate and you have a little bit more of the ambient light around. But again, if you look at the reds, you look at everything, it still looks washed. And these are default values, by the way, which I'll show you by opening up our settings, going into advanced settings, going down to the bottom and hitting reset. It'll say all current settings for cinema mode will be reset. Do you want to continue? To which I'll say yes. Now they've all been reset to default values, and this is exactly what it looks like. The red is blood orange. It is something I have griped passionately about and will continue to do so, because that is not red. I don't care from what walk of life you come from, that cannot be mistaken as red when you see actual red on the screen. And this is something that every YouTuber that does these reviews takes out of the box and they just overlook and say, oh, colors are stellar, amazingly vibrant, wonderfully beautiful. And every year I look at these LG OLEDs and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? This is not vibrant. This is the opposite of vibrant. Are we playing opposite day with our viewers? Because it's very clear in examples like this, where you see all of the detail as it exists in the real world on the S95, S90D type, or S90, S95 type TVs. The QD-OLEDs are just showing you the truth. That really, when LG pulls up to the party, they're just giving you the same washed out image quality year after year after year. I mean, look at these lipstick canisters right now. They can't be mistaken for anything other than washed out. I mean, look at it. Really look at it. And take it in, right? Because as I truly look at this, I can only think one thing. Downgrade. Waste money. Got screwed over. Like, I don't think, like, I bought the latest and greatest. I've saved hard and it was rewarded. I mean, look at that hand. Look at the lack of detail. It's all blurry. I mean, look at his face. She looks like Casper the Friendly Ghost. Look at this. This is the LG experience. And this is something I strive to get you away from and get everybody away from through, again, just being super transparent about when I see these things and how bad they are for everybody. Because this is a bad picture quality. You can't sit there and say that her looking like the corpse bride is a good picture. Come on, don't lie. And that's your cinema mode. Your standard mode that everybody talks about, even worse. Even worse. This is the picture quality that they say looks amazing. She literally looks like a cartoon depiction of a dead character come back to life. A reanimated corpse. This is literally the depiction of that in every movie. And this is literally what they're selling you. It's a joke. And again, vivid mode looks even worse. Even worse. This, again, should not be happening at this price point. You're spending over $1,000 on a TV. It had better do everything for you, and these TVs don't. And as you look at it here, the color green, all of that, no. It's way off in ways that it shouldn't be. So then let's go to ISF, because surely the ISF can do better. To which I'll say, your colors aren't as desaturated, but you also lose depth going from filmmaker mode to ISF bright. The only way to get that back is ISF dark, and ISF dark is every bit as ugly as filmmaker mode, and it does give you a little bit more depth, but again, it's still got that same general look to it. Death. It all looks like death. Now with my settings, this is what it looks like. That's like a day and night difference. I mean, now she doesn't look like the corpse bride anymore. So you can get an idea that this is really me just giving LG their best chance to fight and really go toe to toe against quantum dots, because here's the before, here's the after result. Here's the before in standard mode, here's the after result. So the before and afters don't lie. They have been given every ounce of a chance to fight. And you can see they do a great job of coming close. In this example, if you don't really look, again, at the detail close enough, you'll be like, oh, they're very similar. It's when you start paying attention, you'll notice like there's extra highlights in here that just don't exist on the LG to the left. Again, when you start paying close attention, you'll notice that there's just shades of color that are flying off over here. Highlights are immaculate, very bright, that don't exist on the C4 to the left. So for all their conversation of being Evo, Evo isn't really saving it, because as you can clearly see, the details matter. You can see all of the details, different variations of cyan in the side of the fish here, where over here, the shadow detail is just open way too much. This was one of the biggest things I had to battle with when calibrating the LG C4, because there's just no way to remove that. This year, it's just all about raised black, and I don't know why the blacks are this raised. Look at cinema mode. This will tell you everything. We'll go back, we'll reset again, even though we haven't touched anything, and show you in cinema mode. Raised black. It looks terrible. You have too much shadow detail and not enough contrast. That's a common theme with this. Okay, let's go into standard mode. Again, we're going to go ahead and hit reset. Okay. All in real time so you can see. And there you go. It still has way too much shadow detail. Now we're clipping. We don't have like appropriate detail where we want it. And it just doesn't look anywhere near like a fish underwater and a dark underwater scene like it's supposed to. And for all their talks of AI, I feel like that's where AI should have come in and said, you know what? This is actually incorrect. Let's fix this. If you wanted to use filmmaker mode, you'll get those details back, but it'll be really dim. And it also still will have entirely way too much shadow detail to where it'll look like log footage. So it literally is like they just aren't trying to optimize their own panel, because how is it possible that you can go from this cinema mode or this filmmaker mode, right? And I can take it to this, where you at least have some shadow detail back in the fish with my settings versus what they were offering you. It's a day and night difference. There is no doubt that if you just took your LG out of the box, you've never seen what it was truly capable of, because they just don't tune them like that. And again, past that, we look at all the other things, like the color throw coming off of the S95D right now, /S90D, right, is immaculate. The Samsung OLED experience in 2024 is beyond anything that you are going to find on the LG side of things. They just can't keep up with that. And again, this comes down to, again, what their intention was. I don't know if it was promoting AI, pleasing shareholders, but it wasn't about picture quality, because when you look at picture quality doesn't lie. You're looking at scene after scene after scene, and the details are very clear. The LG just falls behind. And again, look at how close I was able to get the reds to the QD-OLED. Not exact at all, but it's way better than where you started, where you started was right about here, where again, you get some extra contrast, but things get really blue and they don't look quite as good as they should look. And then if you look over here, we go down to the cinema mode, and again, it's just washed out and jaundiced looking, and there's no real way to get around that. So let's say you want to get around that. I mean, look at that picture. A picture's worth 1,000 words. Look at that one. That's just mind-blowing right there, right? And then we can go into, let's say, select another mode. We'll go into filmmaker mode. And then again, more of the same. You literally have this look where it's just jaundice and dead. And then you're paying top dollar. Now, mind you, this is the mode they say, this is the director's intent, this is what everybody should watch, this is amazing. And you're seeing that it's really not, though. And the more you look at it, the more you're like, well, wait a minute, I've been had, I've been duped, I've been conned. This isn't the LG experience they promised me at all. I mean, again, look at this example here. I mean, we'll turn it down some so you can see a little bit better. But again, faded, hazy, washed out. And that's the LG's vibe, again, by default. Because you can fix it. Right? And I have done that, so we'll go ahead and put my settings back in, and voila, it is fixed and way better than it was looking a second ago. But again, it's not going to be an exact match for what we have on QD-OLED. That kind of enters the next part of this, where it's like, if they're both about the same price, why would I want to compromise? And that is something I don't really have the answer to. I've seen so many people say that they're excited to buy the LG C4. And to which I'll just ask a question. Again, this might sound biased, but why? The reason I ask why is because the LG G3 exists, and the LG C3 and the LG C2 exists. And from what I'm seeing from a picture perspective, it's truly the exact same thing. Nobody is using that word. They're saying it's identical, but it's the exact same thing, especially in HDR. It's exactly the same. Or SDR. HDR, it's a little brighter, so yes, there'll be some differences there. However, honestly speaking, the extra brightness just is not beneficial to this particular WOLED. I don't know if maybe other WOLEDs would benefit. This one's not. And I don't see it as some big benefit at all. In fact, I'm noticing after scene after scene after scene of doing this, that it's really just a look of the WOLED that just makes me feel like the image is just dated unnecessarily, and that only if they had a little bit extra color here and there, only if they had a little bit better detail, and the AI features that they brag so much about are turned on. So I can only imagine, I mean, that's supposed to help. Now, there are those that say, oh, AI, it'll mess up your picture quality. They have no idea what they're talking about. None whatsoever. Because that's not how it works. See, I'm going to show you in real time that even if I turn off the AI, it's not going to do anything to hurt my picture, right? So if we go into our service, and then we go into AI Picture Pro and we toggle it off, notice how there's literally nothing that happens whether you toggle it on or off. Nothing at all. There's no discernible difference in picture quality, nothing. So it doesn't matter whether you have it on or off. But again, you can see how the reds are sour on the LG. They look more closely to an orange color than, again, a rich red color. This is, again, one of the big issues that I have with LG. Again, the pink looks flat by comparison, where over here it's vibrant. These are the fundamental issues that I keep having year after year with LG without any real remedy whatsoever. Skin tones alone. In this example, mind-blowing, game-changing stuff. LG, more of the same. It's flat. I've seen this level of picture quality on TVs that cost $500. I kid you not. And I'll even surprise you. A TV like the TCL S546 would blow this exact image out of the water because they did way better on every single level. That shouldn't happen, right? Now, that doesn't mean it will blow every image example out of the water, but the fact that a $400 TV could even be mentioned in the same conversation as the C4 and the S90 series of televisions from Samsung is ridiculous, because again, it tells you that you're not actually seeing the best, like what they say. And again, the Evo panel means nothing. It really does mean nothing for you, and a lot of people are asking, well, is it worth it or not? Should I pay the extra money over the G3? Fuck no. Because you're not getting like an image that is worthy of the price tag. Everybody's so interested in keeping favor with these companies. I don't give a shit. I'll just tell you straight up, it's not worth it. Don't do it if you want to like get the best, the actual best. If you just want an LG OLED, then obviously you're not going to listen to shit I say anyway, and that's totally fine too. But at the end of the day, I think you do yourself a disservice by buying the LG G4. Now, in examples like this, the skin tones can be beautiful. Like this skin tone over here, I prefer more than the skin tone over here. But at the same time, there are a bunch of other little details that the C4 just doesn't have. You see, for example, all the little highlights and the catch lights and the eyes all strong and intense, the color white of the eyes and everything. It does look good. The general sharpness, it's better. But I do like that skin tone because it does look nice. But then, you know, again, you get to examples like this, and then it does the total reverse, where I'm just seeing all of the glitter speckles. You won't be able to see this. You need a human eye to see this. Glitter speckles all in her eyebrow and everything. It just, you don't have that on the LG at all. Like, that is 100% missing, which I find extremely fascinating, honestly, because it's like, you would think it'd be able to pick up those kinds of details since they're both 4K and they're both OLED, but no. Processing is basically going to make the difference here, and you're seeing it in every single scene that we look at. And the point of this, again, isn't to disparage LG or its fans. It's just simply here to tell you that there is a difference between these two, and the difference is ultimately going to come down to dim, outdated looks versus modern, updated. You get the idea. Hopefully this helped you out. If it did, let me know down below. Thanks for watching the #1 brand in honesty. Subscribe for more content like this coming up after this video. And until the next time, I'll see you guys later.